Keira likes playing historical roles and actually got her big break starring in a film set a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. She played a decoy to Natalie Portman's Queen Amidala. That's right, she was a decoy for possibly the dullest character ever committed to screen.
Famously, Keira Knightley started her Hollywood career by being Natalie Portman's double in Star Wars, and it was amazing when you saw them together with their makeup on, because they were just spitting images of each other and not even their mothers could tell them apart.
Keira Knightley was a child actress, really. She didn't have her breakthrough role until her teens, but she was well acquainted with the industry and the business of filmmaking from a young age.
Keira started playing larger roles when she appeared in British horror flick The Hole.
I did see The Hole. It was what it was. It was a teen genre film about a bunch of kids, stuck in a hole.
That sums it up quite well.
Can I kick it?
But Keira was soon on to bigger and better things when she landed a main role in Bend It Like Beckham and got a chance to show off her footballing skills.
I'm a huge fan of Bend It Like Beckham. I thought it was a lovely film, and I thought she was great in it. I remember talking to director Gurinder Chadha about it, and she just said, she saw a lot of young girls, but Keira came in and she was just really comfortable, really confident, and just exuded youth and vitality, and that's what she saw in her, and that's why she cast her.
I thought Keira Knightley was charming in Bend It Like Beckham. It was nice to see her kind of being really sporty and playing around, playing football, and that whole film was just a really great British feel-good movie. So yeah, it was a good role.
That was one of her early triumphs, because she was a tomboy and she was unashamedly unvain and loved wearing her trousers and getting out and kicking a football around.
All I'm saying is there is a reason why Sporty Spice is the only one of them without a fella.
Bend It Like Beckham is one of those kind of rather charming roles that maybe we haven't seen enough of her in. She's got good comic chops and she's got good timing, which again the Pirates of the Caribbean movies show you.
Speaking of Pirates of the Caribbean, let's move on to that. It's a film that undoubtedly made Keira a real star.
You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
Keira Knightley really got her Hollywood breakthrough role where she became a massive star with the Pirates of the Caribbean series. And her role was fun. She played a really feisty character, and I think that was what really made her stand out. She wasn't sort of this damsel in distress. She could definitely hold her own with those boys.
I'm gonna teach you the meaning of pain!
You like pain? Try wearing a corset.
In Pirates film, she's a bit like a Rapunzel kind of character at first. She's imprisoned in this world that doesn't suit her, in her corset and all her finery. And she's obviously just desperate to do the Joan of Arc and bust out of that and get into the boys' clothes.
What's interesting about the Pirates of the Caribbean films, as often be said, is that Captain Jack is never the leading man. He's never driving the plot. He's only reacting to it. So it requires the other characters, mainly Elizabeth, in Keira's hands, to drive forward the narrative so Johnny can come along and make jokes. But actually, if you watch the film, certainly the first one, which is the better film, she's very funny herself, and in that kind of exasperating, what are the boys doing now? What are the idiots up to?
He spent 3 days lying on a beach drinking rum.
Welcome to the Caribbean, love.
Definitely, Keira Knightley's role in the first Pirates of the Caribbean was crucial. I think she really did drive the film, especially up against Orlando Bloom, who was somewhat wet, I would say.
What sort of a man trades a man's life for a ship?
Pirate. Here. Let me.
Not a fan of Orlando Bloom there. Of course, the new rule of Hollywood says that all successful films must be turned into trilogies, and so it was with Pirates of the Caribbean. And Keira's character underwent quite a transformation.
Yeah, I think Elizabeth Swann has definitely grown up, and yeah, she's got a bit of a dark streak to her, and she's got a bit grungy, so I'm liking her more and more and more.
The Pirates of the Caribbean series is one of the better long-running Hollywood franchises. It has the swashbuckling adventure. It has Johnny Depp in one of his most appealing roles.
Although massively successful, the general consensus was no one had any idea what was going on in the sequels.
I didn't really understand what was going on in the second Pirates movie, let alone the third Pirates movie.
I really don't know what was going on in the third Pirates movie.
No one understands what's going on in the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Not even the people who wrote it.
See? Pirates of the Caribbean wasn't just the start of Keira's movie star status, it also started off a string of performances featuring corsets, as she became a regular face in costume dramas.
I definitely think historical films suit Keira Knightley. She's very upright and proper, and she's got this incredible cut glass English accent, and she looks great in a corset. So yeah, it's not surprising that she keeps going back and doing period films.
I do believe you will be happy with him.
Oh, I shall, Mama. I know I shall.
I think Keira looks perfect in period films, which is a strange notion when you think about it. I mean, humans haven't sort of changed much in their appearance over the centuries, and yet somehow, you know, you wouldn't necessarily easily buy, I think, Cameron Diaz in period or Angelina Jolie in period. There's something, completely modern and contemporary about their look. But Keira, on the other hand, she looks at her best when she's in period.
Keira played the ultimate role in this genre when she took on literary favourite Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice.
I think if you read Jane Austen's text, you wouldn't necessarily think of Elizabeth Bennet as being this kind of incredible beauty, which, Keira Knightley, the face of Chanel, obviously is. But it's a movie.
May I have the next dance, Miss Elizabeth?
You may.
Keira Knightley did a great job as Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice. She was kind of the perfect mixture of prim and curious, and I don't think she was too pretty.
The most interesting and central role to her career so far remains Elizabeth Bennet, because that's the one everybody has an opinion on. Everybody thinks they know her. It's been done so many times that it's the big risk. You take her on, and how do you make her your own? I think what is brilliant, she got an Oscar nomination, a very deserved Oscar nomination for it, was that she did make her own. She made her both modern and traditional. One of the difficulties of Elizabeth Bennet is that she can just be displayed as the plot device that Jane Austen writes, She's the pride.
I am not the sort of female to torment a respectable man. Please understand me, I cannot accept you.
And she pulls off one of recent cinema's greatest smiles, in the point where he finally confesses to her and she can't control the smile. And it's a lovely little sort of detail that, tells you that she's not acting anymore. She's she is acting, but she's displaying very human traits. So that's still, to me, the pivotal role, I think.
Keira wasn't just an actress picking up Oscar nominations, she was also picking up perfume endorsement deals. Those things seem to go hand in hand.
Yeah, Keira Knightley's been the face of Chanel for a few years now and worked with the director Joe Wright to do little fashion films and ads, and I think she is a great ambassador for the brand. She always looks stunning and very poised, and yeah, Karl Lagerfeld is lucky to have her.
Keira isn't the kind of actress that is very convincing in girl next door roles. I mean, she sort of looks slightly bizarre, like she's an alien from another planet, which is fine, if you're, fine for certain roles, and also perfect for modelling and perfect for fashion. I mean, most models look like they're aliens from another planet, and Keira is someone who's, absolutely can pull off that kind of, spokesmodel for a, high-end fashion brand.
One thing I'd say about Keira Knightley is I think she takes a far better photograph than she does a movie sequence. She has an iconic thing going on. The fashion world has really taken to her. You can see why. I mean, she looks fabulous in those Chanel ads. She wears clothes very well.
Stay tuned, because when we return after the break, Keira strikes up a top partnership and perfects the art of the pout. Welcome back to Movie Stars Top Moments, where today we're covering the biggest moments in the career of Keira Knightley. Now, every actor likes a director who regularly hires them, and Keira seems to have found her man in Joe Wright.
Look, I really think you should go down to the lodge and ask him not to come.
Why? Something happened between you.
For God's sake.
He does return to her frequently. Atonement, again, one of her great films, was with Joe Wright. He did Pride and Prejudice with her, and they formed a very good relationship. I think she knows or understands he's getting the best out of her as a director. He's a fascinating director in his own right. He doesn't do things in a straightforward manner. He kind of reinvents what seem to be staple English things, the literary film. I think he fights that as much as he's drawn to it. So I think they match each other in that respect. But he draws the best out of it.
I think what Joe Wright does brilliantly is create a very company feel, create an environment that's incredibly creative and collaborative. And I love working under those circumstances. So it was completely wonderful, and the fact that we all knew each other and the relationships had already been formed and that we completely adored each other obviously helped.
I think Atonement is Keira Knightley's best film, and everybody in it plays that part to the hilt, but then of course the rug is very much pulled out from you.
Why are you crying? Don't you know? Yes, I know exactly.
She's playing the character that you expect her to play with unexpected consequences.
I love Keira Knightley in Atonement. I just think it's a beautiful film. The story is heartbreaking. She looks like a magic silver screen goddess in that green silk gown floating around. And I just think it gives me shivers, that film. And her role in it is just pitch perfect.
I think it's a step on from Pride and Prejudice. Obviously the same director, literary material in a period setting, but there's something about the arc that character goes through that's really affecting, and I think she really had to raise her game to play that part.
Why are you leaving Moscow?
What else can I do? I have to be where you are.
Stop, that's enough.
Recently, Joe Wright and Keira Knightley have teamed up once again for a classic adaptation. This time, it was Anna Karenina.
It's quite strange with this piece because I remember it as being just incredibly romantic. I don't think I remembered much else about it, apart from that she was extraordinary in it and the romance of it and everything. And obviously I read it just before we started filming, so over the summer. And I didn't find it that romantic at all. I found it much, much darker. And the question of whether Anna Karenina is the hero or the heroine or the anti-heroine, I thought was quite a huge one. And it was something that I didn't remember from reading it when I was younger at all. So I guess that's the sort of definition of a classic, because it changes as you change.
He's got 3 stunning performances out of her, from each in very different ways, from Pride and Prejudice through Atonement and into Anna Karenina. But Anna Karenina is more than even Elizabeth. I think it's the first role that sort of pushed her to a limit. It's such a role, Anna Karenina. It's full of fire and passion, sensual madness. It runs the course of you love her and you hate her. It's an incredibly complicated role, and she's doing it with Joe Wright, who's become the sort of director who, she's kind of his muse, and he's always drawn back to her.
Most recently we've seen her in playing the heroine in Anna Karenina. Felt a little like having exhausted most of the characters she could have played in English 19th century fiction. She's now turned to playing heroines of Russian 19th century fiction.
I look quite pretty.
Keira used her pouty abilities very well in Love Actually, which is a film that divides people to the extreme. It's not in my top 10.
You've stayed rather close, haven't you?
Love Actually is just a big pile of schmaltz. So Keira's role within that is extremely cheesy and schmaltzy, but I can't blame her for wanting to take part in one of those, incredible Richard Curtis working title films, because they're just, they're the sort of things that you play at Christmas and everybody loves it, and the cast was an incredible ensemble cast.
I am a huge fan of Love Actually, and I won't hear a word said against it. I think that it's not a film that's beloved by most film critics, but I responded to it. It was heartfelt. I think Richard Curtis is a very sincere filmmaker, and I liked her in it. And personally speaking, if Andrew Lincoln was at my door with those cue cards, I wouldn't have interrupted him.
How unbearable is Love Actually? Very unbearable. I think there's a problem with Love Actually and what it represents, and the attachment of Keira to the school of British comedy, of which Love Actually is somehow emblematic, was very closely associated with it. There's a certain kind of smug, self-congratulatory air about Love Actually.
See, splits them right down the middle.
I'd like you to forgive me. I don't expect you to.
Time now to bring up the top film that you probably haven't seen. Now, every movie star has some great films that for one reason or another nobody saw. Sometimes because they were terrible, but sometimes because they just didn't find their audience. In Keira's case, it's Never Let Me Go, where she co-starred with Carey Mulligan and Spider-Man.
Interestingly, I think one of the films that she was most effective in was Never Let Me Go, which is an achingly sad adaptation of Kazuo Ishiguro's novel about three children who grew up in a dystopian future and learn gradually that their bodies are being farmed for organs, and they're sort of born to die, really.
By agreeing to perform in Never Let Me Go, it really, bringing her star power really helped that film be made. And Carey Mulligan is the lead role in it. It's Carey's story. Keira's character is not only subsidiary, she's also, somewhat unpleasant. So, I think it's great that she agreed to do that, and I think she knew that by doing it, she was ensuring the film got made. I think that's a great thing to do.
She played the role of Ruth, who's the slightly spiteful, slightly resentful, older sister-ish role. And I thought she was fantastic at that.
It must be really awful for you, surrounded by all these couples.
I never said that. I just think it's daft. You copy them and they copy from a television show.
I'm right, aren't I? You don't like the fact that Tommy and I are friends with Chrissy and Rod, whereas you hardly speak to anyone.
I thought that the character was fascinating. For me, it was kind of a study of jealousy and fear, and I think she commits great harm. And I thought it was an interesting thing trying to get into her head. I didn't like her, and it's tricky playing people that you don't like and finding a way to empathise with them, and that was challenging and very exciting.
Frontier Psychiatry.
After Never Let Me Go, Keira took on an even more challenging role in David Cronenberg's A Dangerous Method, where she played a troubled woman being treated by two of the founders of psychoanalysis. Not your typical rom-com.
Have you any idea what may have brought on these attacks you suffer from?
Humiliation and...
What I will say about Keira Knightley's choices of films recently is that I think she's quite brave. She really challenges herself. She, played Sabina in A Dangerous Method, and that was quite an uncomfortable role. It involved putting herself in difficult positions, really playing outside her comfort zone with the Russian accent and the sort of bondage element and that hysteria. It's really hard. It's a really hard thing to do. So I think she's really good at pushing herself.
With this character, it was something that was totally outside my experience. There was nothing that kind of connected us, and I thought that was an extraordinary kind of challenge to get inside that head and to see things from that point of view and to understand and not judge what was going on. So part of the pleasure in pain that she has, the masochistic aspect of it, was something that I found hugely difficult to understand. I was quite repelled by it when I first read it and when I first started thinking about it, and trying to get over that in myself, and then not only do that but understand how you could want it and what you get out of it was a really interesting process.
It's generally thought to be the man who should take the initiative.
Don't you think there's something male in every woman and something female in every man? Or should be?
Maybe. I expect you're right, yes.
If you ever want to take the initiative, I live in that building there, where the bay window is.
It was obviously a brave role for her to take on, and I know that she wavered at how explicit it was, but I think that was her really trying to take control of her career and saying, look, I'm not who you think I am, I can do dangerous roles.
She's great in it. It's not one of my favourite films, it's not one of my favourite performances of hers, but it's interesting that, you know, she is cast alongside these incredible actors in this, you know, very kind of serious piece.
It's quite nice to see her moving into kind of more rarefied circles.
I tell you what, if Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud are struggling to help, then you got problems, girl. For a big female movie star, Keira has been rather adept at keeping her private life relatively private, which is a nice change.
One of the things I admire about Keira Knightley actually is that she is quite a private person. So I did know that she went out with fellow actor Rupert Friend for 5 years, and I know that she's engaged to James Reynolds from Klaxons, but, you know, she's sort of just quite contained about it and doesn't like flashing it about, and I think that's what all celebrities should be doing.
Considering that she's dated actors, I think she has managed not to become a brand. There's never any danger of Keira and her boyfriend becoming a kind of Brangelina brand, you know, where the two names merged. I don't think, you know, maybe it's just the way, you know, the things that they do or the places that they go or the way they handle it. I mean, she doesn't become too closely associated with her boyfriend.
If you are what you say you are.
She's a Chanel model and a movie star with directors clamoring to hire her. What's next for this waifish English girl?
Keira Knightley, I think her future lies slightly elsewhere. I'd like to see her develop her mean side a little bit. It'll be interesting to see her in a few more contemporary roles.
I think she will come back, will always naturally gravitate to London and to British films and to a certain kind of literariness that suits her, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised if Keira Knightley won an Oscar one day. I think, you know, critics do love her. So I think if she keeps pushing herself, she's going to be quite a lasting Hollywood star.